Today we're adding a simple and effective set of bass shakers to a sim rig. These tactile transducers let you feel those ultra low frequencies, so you can experience feedback like ABS and gear shifts to road bumps right in your seat and under your feet. Now for this project we'll need a few items: 2 Dayton Audio BST2 tactile bass shakers, 1 compact knob sound USB amplifier that has a built-in sound card, some extra speaker wire, either 14 or 16 gauge, to extend the wire connections if needed, and various bits of mounting hardware like bolts or brackets depending on how we set up everything. For the location, the bass shakers can be positioned on the left or right side, front and back, or even in all 4 corners. For our project we'll be placing 1 shaker at the front and 1 at the rear of the sim rig. Starting off with the front mounting, on the underside of the pedals there are 4 outer mounting holes that are used to bolt the pedals onto the sim rig. There's an additional set of threaded holes which is an ideal location to attach your board with a bass shaker. From these inner mounting points, some measurements are taken and an MDF board is cut out to size. In the board some holes are drilled for the bass shakers and for the pedal mounting points. If you want, the board can be painted black or covered in material to match the sim rig. Next, the bass shaker is installed with 4 bolts to the MDF board, and then the completed board is attached to the bottom of the pedals. This whole pedal unit with the bass shaker installed is ready to go and bolted back onto the sim rig. Under the pedals I'm using some rubber shock bushings to help isolate the bass shaker effects to the pedals rather than travelling through the whole rig. These are installed on all 4 corners of the pedals, and along with the bushings we need some rubber washers to help eliminate metal on metal contact points. Taking a look at mounting the rear bass shaker, some good locations would be at the back, the side, or even underneath the seat. But for all these direct mounting points we'll need to drill holes into the seat, which is less than ideal. So to keep the setup somewhat simple and reversible, we're using a similar approach as the front, and using an MDF board to install the shaker and then mount this to the underside of the seat rails. With it mounted to the seat rails of the sim rig, we may want to add some rubber spacers between the bottom of the rails and the contact points on the main frame. This will help keep the bass effects going through the seat rather than the main frame. Now a quick message from today's video sponsor. PCBWay is a one-stop solution for PCB prototypes and assembly. With more than a decade in the field, they're also providing CNC machining, laser cutting, sheet metal fabrication, injection molding, and a 3D printing service. Sometimes we don't have all the required tools at home or in the workshop for our projects, so this is the perfect solution for producing high quality parts. Getting parts made is a super easy process. On the PCBWay site, simply select the service required, upload a CAD file, then fill out the details for the quantity, material type, and other properties. You will receive a quote and then submit your request, and once the order is placed, the part will be made and shipped out to you. If you're looking to get some PCB boards made, CNC machine parts, sheet metal fabrication, or 3D printed parts for your next project, see the link in the video's description for PCBWay's site and check them out. Thanks again to PCBWay for sponsoring today's video. Okay, moving on to the wiring. For the front bass shaker we installed to the pedals, this is connected to the red and black terminals on the left side of the amp. The second rear bass shaker under the seat is connected to the right hand side of the amplifier's red and black terminals. At the bottom of the amplifier, the USB cable is plugged in and connected to a PC, and at the top the power supply is connected. Now as the rear bass shaker is further away than the front, the wiring is extended with some of the extra speaker wire. To control and send the games data to the bass shakers, we're using the free and powerful SimHub software. So with SimHub downloaded and installed, let's set up the software. On the left hand side, select Shake It Bass Shaker. Now the first thing to do is to click on the sound output and find the USB sound card we plugged into the PC, and this is listed as Speakers USB 2.0 device. Turn this on, then expand the tab. We're using a front and rear setup, so we'll select this. Now the setup can be further customized in the custom channel map, which allows us to individually map effects for either the front or rear bass shakers. For example, as we have a 2-channel amp with 2 bass shakers, we may only want the ABS sent to the front shaker, so we turn this on for channel 1, the front shaker. and off for channel 2, the rear shaker. This makes it a fairly simple process to fine-tune and customize the setup. But for now we'll leave it on the front and rear setting and have a look at the available effects in the effects profile. For the effects, we have a list that we can select from ABS, engine vibrations, gear shifts, road impacts, speed, and wheel slip, to name a few. These can be toggled on or off as desired, and within each effect it has basic customization like the effect frequency, the volume, and duration. So it can be easily tuned, and each effect can be quickly tested to see what works best. Now for the effects, it's best to only use a few and tune these to complement the feedback of the wheelbase. Otherwise, using too many effects may be more of a distraction than help with the racing. I ended up only using 3 effects: ABS sent to the front shaker so it can be felt at the pedals, a pulse for the gear shift, and an effect for the road impacts sent to both shakers. Overall, it's a fun and budget-friendly project to give your sim rig some cool tactile effects, and a great way to add to the racing experience without breaking the bank. Let us know if you're using base shakers and what tactile effects you enjoy the most. And thanks for watching.